Is a senior program coordinator at the International Union for Conservation of Nature. He joins us from Gland in Switzerland. Janaka, good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
So tell us, what happened at this conference? Why did it all break down to the point that it actually had to be canceled, basically?
Yeah, the challenges I think are very complex, and dealing with the open ocean, where there is no jurisdiction by countries per se, the complexity of the negotiations is much harder. And I think that challenge, coupled with the disruption as a result of COVID, has re- required a lot more additional work than what was originally envisioned. So, while I think it is fair to say there has been substantial progress, we strongly believe that the next sessions will actually lead and finalize these very important discussions.
Well, let's get into the real nitty-gritty of this. What was supposed to be talked about that some nations found unacceptable or just no-go areas?
I think it's really a question of coming to agreement. And as you know, with many of these international agreements, there has to be a degree of compromise and agreement. And certainly the issues around marine genetic resources and actually the financial mechanisms and who pays for all of the work that needs to be done are actually quite complex. And those definitely need to be underlined and worked on a little bit further. Uh, the challenges are there, and we recognize them, but I think there's a lot of impetus to move forward on this.
Okay, so when we're talking about protecting the oceans, and it's not as if there's tons of time left to protect our planet, what are some of the best ideas out there, would you say, that have been proposed, not necessarily in this venue, but just in general?
I think there are a lot of global treaties that have had success, and certainly I think we can take action. And really, the basis of it is cooperation, collaboration, and actually ensuring the participation of all sectors of society. And that is really the fundamental process to get these stations moving forward. And that it comes through this negotiation process on agreeing on what those basics are. And that actually is the fundamental way to move forward on these.
Yeah, but to do what, Janaka? I mean, what can countries, let's say in a perfect world, every country on earth said, we're gonna do this, we're gonna make this happen. Where to begin? What needs to be tackled to protect our oceans?
Well, protecting the oceans is very complex because, as you've heard in your earlier pieces, it's a fundamental part of our climate and it drives essentially the climate we live in. So it requires participation and agreement. And what that is, by no means, is not an easy challenge to address, but nevertheless possible. So the first step is coming to that common agreement, and that is the basis for action. And what that requires is action on all our parts, whether it's being small island nations or large countries, to take action and to reduce the emissions that we fundamentally are causing some of these global changes that we see. So, fundamental to this really are addressing some of those treaties, such as the UN FFFC, the Climate Change Treaty that was agreed in Paris, and getting that moved forward, because that, coupled together with many of these other treaties, together will actually enable us to move forward in a more comprehensive way.
All right, Janaka de Silva, a pleasure to talk to you.